Hello everybody and welcome to my Strasbourg blog for February. Well, I'm delighted to be able to say we've got some really good news this week. We voted today in plenary on the fisheries policy. Now, you will all know about the Common Fisheries Policy. If nothing else, you will know about its discards. That means that fishermen have quotas. If they catch over the quota, they have to throw the fish back into the sea, regardless of whether they can survive or not, and regardless of whether they would be saleable. So good fish gets thrown back, and estimates vary, but it's thought that maybe up to 20% of fish caught in some waters is being thrown back, which of course is a scandal. And we all know that the fish in the sea, it's not a never-ending resource. They are running out, certain species, and that's why we have quotas. But this is an unintended consequence. So today we voted on a new Common Fisheries Policy, and I've been working myself extremely hard on it. Lots of negotiation going on. It's been largely the northern states, ourselves, the Irish, the Scandinavians, and a little bit the Dutch, working against the Spanish and Portuguese, who have all the huge, massive factory fishing fleets that you will all have heard about. And we've been trying to secure a deal that will be good for fish and good for fishermen in the UK. And I think we've done pretty well. I don't normally say that, you've got to admit. I'm usually full of doom and gloom in these broadcasts, but this I'm delighted about. We've actually established that there will be no more discarding. There is a 100% ban on discarding anything back into the sea, dead. You will be able to throw back things like shark because they can continue to live, and why not? They should have that chance. But anything that could be that will die, like a cod, will have to be landed. So fishermen will land everything they catch. So you might say their quotas are going to run out very quickly. Well, this land-all policy will enable us to do two things. Firstly, we'll know exactly how many fish are actually out there, because currently we don't really know, because we don't know what the discards are. And we will be able to encourage people to eat perhaps the less popular fish. And you will know with Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall's campaign, he's been trying to persuade us all to eat mackerel burgers. I think they're quite delicious myself, and they're very good for you. So moving away from our traditional cod towards the more unusual, and in many cases sometimes healthier fish. So today we had a vote that effectively gave us that policy. It now has to go on through the process. It goes to a meeting with council, that's all of our fishing ministers. So we're not there yet, but as far as Parliament's concerned, Parliament has done its job. And I think we've listened to the voice of people, we've listened to the campaigns, we've listened to the petitions, and we have achieved that. There's far more on the Common Fisheries Policy that went through today, and it's all on my website, so do please have a look at it. But the second thing I'd just like to tell you about is another good news story. We voted today on the reduction of noise in motor vehicles. Something I think is close to most people's hearts, especially if you live on a busy road and you can hear that tyre noise and that engine noise. And we voted to bring those levels down over a period of time so that industry could cope. We British Conservatives had an amendment which effectively asked that the high performance cars would have a much longer time period in which to comply. This is very important for British industry. We make Aston Martins, we make Bentleys, we make some of the most desirable high powered cars in Europe, us and the Italians. And it was very important that we got that amendment through, which we did. We also got through an amendment which meant that for blind people, for partially sighted, for children, for cyclists. I don't know if any of you cycle, I do. Sometimes if it's an electric car, I don't know it's there, and that can be quite dangerous. So we actually got something through that will add noise. Seems a little counterintuitive, I know, but for those cars that are really silent, we'll add some noise so that somebody out with their guide dog will still hear. And I did a marvellous test with the guide dog for the Blind Association down in Exeter a couple of weeks ago, where I went out on a blind walk. I was blindfolded and I went out with the dog, and I can tell you it is terrifying. And if you cannot hear that traffic, the dog simply cannot function. So I'm delighted we got that through too. So on that piece of good news, I will sign off. Next month we'll be voting here on Common Agricultural Policy. I fear it won't be quite so upbeat at the end of that, but I look forward to telling you all about it. So happy February, see you in March.